Good evening. I'm Tyler Thompson, the curator of the ITA Women's Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame. Tonight we induct 4 fantastic new members: Jan Brogan from Cal Berkeley, John Peterson from Tyler Junior College, Louise Allen from Trinity University, and Shelley Keeler Whalen from Pomona College. The class of 2024 joins a Hall of Fame filled with college tennis's greatest coaches, players, and contributors. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another special event in the history of the ITA Women's Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame. My name is Gary Ripple, and for the better part of 3 decades, it's been my privilege and pleasure to be your MC as we celebrate the game of tennis and the outstanding careers of 4 tremendous performers who coached and played at the highest level. Some of you, at least maybe one of you, is wondering, how did this guy get to be the MC? Truth be told, I was the next door neighbor of Millie West. And Millie figured out in those days of tight budgets that I would work for food. But we're stuck with me, and our task tonight is going to be most pleasurable. At the conclusion of this program, we will have added 4 very special people to our Hall of Fame. As we know, Mark McCormick was a proud alumnus of William and Mary, so it's no coincidence that the Hall of Fame is located here at the college at the McCormick-Nagelson Tennis Center. Our college is proud to be the home of a most impressive facility, and here to welcome us is the head coach of William and Mary Women's Tennis, Jessica Jugeli.
Well, good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. On behalf of William and Mary and our athletic department, I would like to welcome everyone and congratulate our inductees. It is truly a privilege to house the ITA Hall of Fame on our William and Mary campus, and for our players to have daily reminders of the development and milestones reached by women's collegiate tennis over the years. It is an honor for us to be a part of this induction and be surrounded by some of the best leaders in the field. Every 2 years, it gives us the opportunity to gather and celebrate the history and accomplishments that paved the way for today's student-athlete experience. I would like to thank the ITA for putting together such a great and meaningful event. I also would like to thank East Carolina, Davidson, Virginia Tech, Old Dominion, and UNC Women's Tennis for participating this weekend. Last but not least, I would like to thank the inductees, families, and friends for sharing with us such a memorable event. Thank you, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Jessica, and may you continue to enjoy your success with an outstanding women's tennis program here at the college. Past induction programs have left all of us in awe of the exploits of previous inductees, and tonight we'll add to the body of work that our Hall of Fame members have achieved as we recall the feats of our 4 new inductees. They are Coach Jan Brogan of the University of California, Berkeley, Coach John Peterson of Tyler Junior College, Louise Allen of Trinity University, and Shelley Keeler Whalen of Pomona College. Later in our program, we'll all be treated to a few of the highlights of their memorable careers. Also, I'd like to introduce some of our special guests here tonight. We are pleased that past inductees of the Hall of Fame have returned to welcome our newest members. They are, please stand if you can when I say your name, Ann Lebedeff, now a member of the selection committee. Gretchen Rush. And Patty Fendick McCain. Other Hall of Fame selection committee members in attendance include Brian Kalbus, head women's tennis coach of UNC. Our videographer, Brian Williams. Sheila McInerney, recently retired head coach at Arizona State. And both Tyler Thompson and Tim Russell, who you'll hear from later. I'd also like to recognize the presence of nearly 40 female student athletes joining us this evening. Not only are they competing on campus this weekend, they're also learning about the trailblazers who came before them, those who paved the way for the opportunities and benefits they now cherish. Please join me in welcoming the tennis teams and coaches from Virginia Tech, East Carolina, Davidson, North Carolina, and William and Mary. Best of luck to all of you throughout the upcoming season. And the myriad details for this program were handled by the very competent Jenna Kane, who serves the ITA as the Hall of Fame manager and marketing and communications coordinator. Some of our guests this evening are first-time visitors to the Hall of Fame. So our outstanding videographer, Brian Williams, has created a piece that will give you an introduction and remind all of us how this remarkable memorial to greatness was established.
Until 1995, it was just a vision. But that year, Mark and Betsy Nagelson McCormick turned that vision into reality, creating a home for the Intercollegiate Tennis Association Women's Hall of Fame. Expressing their dedication to women's tennis and backing that up with financial generosity, the McCormick-Nagelson Tennis Center opened on the College of William & Mary campus, housing the Hall of Fame. Mark McCormick revolutionized the world of sports as founder of his company, International Management Group, and as a result, shaped the sports marketing industry. In the early 1960s, he built IMG into the world's largest athlete representation and sports marketing firm, starting with his first client, the legendary golfer Arnold Palmer. Called the most powerful man in sports by Sports Illustrated, McCormick helped change the face of women's tennis as well. On the professional level, his advocacy on behalf of players and his promotion of tournaments worldwide brought tremendous new support and interest to the game. On the intercollegiate level, McCormick provided the first women's tennis scholarships at his alma mater, William & Mary, enhancing the team's competitiveness in NCAA Division I play. When the Women's ITA Hall of Fame opened in 1995, Mark and Betsy McCormick were honored with induction into the Hall, along with a who's who of tennis greats, including the legendary Billie Jean King, the inspirational Althea Gibson, and Hazel Hotchkiss Whiteman, founder of the Whiteman Cup, which saw 4 American victories on the William & Mary campus in the 1980s. In 1998, Mildred Millie West took her place in the Hall. During her more than 50-year association with the College of William & Mary, Millie was a professor, department chairman, tennis coach, and brought the Whiteman Cup tournament to the campus. She also spearheaded construction of the ITA Hall of Fame and was its curator since the Hall opened its doors. The ITA Women's Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame was created to celebrate the milestones in women's collegiate tennis, from the early struggles for recognition to the achievement of full-fledged intercollegiate competition. Every 2 years, the Hall of Fame enshrines exceptional players, coaches, and contributors in women's intercollegiate tennis. In doing so, it becomes an even more inspiring sight for future champions. Tonight, the Hall of Fame welcomes 4 new members.
Sadly, 2 of our 3 founders, Mark McCormick and Millie West, are no longer with us, but the memories they created will live forever in our hearts and minds. Family health issues have prevented our 3rd founder from being with us tonight, but she has sent a special greeting via video. Here is Betsy Nagelson McCormick.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this year's 2024 ITA Women's Tennis Collegiate Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I'm so very sorry I can't be there in person to enjoy this weekend with you. A very well-deserved honor for you. I'm so happy for you guys this year. Just coming off this video, this couldn't be in a more wonderful setting with Williamsburg, the College of William and Mary and its beautiful campus, the tennis center itself, which is amazing, and of course the Hall of Fame is housed inside the tennis center. Coming off this video and thinking about the very first induction in 1995, when Mark and I were so privileged and honored to be inducted along with the legends of the game, Billie Jean King, Althea Gibson, Doris Hart, Shirley Fry, and so many others. Mark went to school at William and Mary, loved Williamsburg so very much. Millie West, no one loved William and Mary more than Millie. And as we think of them, I know how much we miss them and honor them this weekend, what they pulled off with their love and dedication and tenacity and hard work to make this happen. We truly, truly are thankful. I am so happy for you, honorees this year. I want you to have the most wonderful weekend. Enjoy this great privilege. My congratulations to Louise Allen and Shelley Keller Whelan and the coaches, Jan Brogan and John Peterson. Congratulations to you. Enjoy this wonderful weekend.
I believe we are all well aware that what Betsy means to all of us and the important role of keeping this special place so important in our hearts. I recently learned that when Coca-Cola was first produced, 1 bottle of Coca-Cola contained 3.5 grams of cocaine. Now, to me, this explains how our grandparents could walk 5 miles to school, uphill both ways, barefoot and in the snow. This evening, we're blessed to welcome back one of the truly important people in managing and directing the Hall of Fame. Tyler Thompson continues to enjoy a most successful career in women's collegiate tennis. He has coached championship teams at the University of Minnesota and William and Mary, and currently serves as associate head coach at the University of North Carolina, which has won a myriad of national and conference titles. Having been heavily involved in the ITA Women's Collegiate Tennis Hall of Fame for years as curator and committee member, Tyler has our gratitude for his dedication to preserving, promoting, and celebrating the history of women's collegiate tennis. Join me now in warmly welcoming Tyler Thompson to the stage.
Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing? Good. There are two primary reasons I'll keep my remarks brief. First is I know that there are more important people to be up here later tonight. And the second is that my voice is often mistaken for a test of the emergency broadcast system. And I'm not here to issue an Amber Alert or tell you to seek shelter. I'm here to just recognize a couple of important people before we get to the most important people of the evening. Tim Russell is our ITA CEO, Intercollegiate Tennis Association, and Tim is about to end his 10-year tenure in that role and will be retiring at the end of the year. And we're lucky to have him here this evening, and I have a mix of sadness and happiness with his retirement. I'm happy that he'll be enjoying more golf and some more free time with his grandchildren, but I'm sad that we'll be without his leadership. He's been an incredible leader for our organization. In the world of college athletics, there's a very increasingly blurred line between what education is and what professionalism is. And Tim has been a champion of the educational aspect of it and understands sportsmanship and leadership are the most important things. So I just want to thank Tim for his service to the ITA. And lastly, but not of the least importance, Tim has done an incredible job in advancing the Hall of Fame and dedicating resources to its growth and making it such a great event. So Tim, could you come up here for a moment, please? Got a little something for you. Thank you.
Tell me about
I want to come over here for a photo op. Thanks. I'm going to hold on here for you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Tyler. I was not expecting that, but you're so thoughtful. And we didn't really coordinate our remarks, but you gave just the right introduction, because the first thing I wrote is that ultimately college tennis is about higher education. Ultimately, college tennis is about higher education, and it's always wonderful. Yeah. It's always wonderful to return to one of the country's not only oldest but finest colleges in America. And my wife Jill, who's here with me, we always think of this as a homecoming of sorts, because our son Jeff Russell early in the 2000s actually was not only a student here but played for the men's varsity team, and we always love coming back. You know, what incredible memories. And not only the older I get, but as I make my way towards retirement, I think when all is said and done in life, what you have is memories. And hopefully you have a bunch of great memories. And I certainly know that all of us who love college tennis have great memories about college tennis. And I know that many of you are making more great memories this weekend. I not only saw it at the reception last night, but I think a lot of people have been having a lot of fun. So when I've been thinking about the brief remarks here, I was thinking about the wonderful American philosopher Robert Solomon was once asked, what gives meaning to life? And he said, we find meaning in our passions, or we find it nowhere. What gives meaning in our life? We find it in our passions. I think all of us in this room are passionate about college tennis. And I certainly know that the Intercollegiate Tennis Association is passionate about college tennis. And I right now just want to bring words of welcome, congratulations, and gratitude on behalf of not only our board, but the hardworking staff of the ITA. I want to add my words of welcome to all of you, including the student athletes, and certainly want to congratulate the class of winners, but also welcome back all the former Hall of Fame inductees. If you happen to have read the little letter in the little booklet we put out, we talked about the nature of Halls of Fame, basically, as Gary was referencing. They preserve, they celebrate, and they inspire. So I want to thank the College of William and Mary for being great partners with the ITA. I certainly want to thank Tyler for all of his work as the curator. I certainly want to thank Jenna as our ITA Hall of Fame manager. And we certainly want to celebrate with all of you tonight, and great gratitude to everyone who's put the program together, because I know it's a great labor of love for all of you. So tonight, we're going to celebrate the history of our sport, the strength of today's competitive landscape, and I know that a lot of the ladies were competing yesterday, today, and they will do so tomorrow. But I think we all have to kind of celebrate and hope, as Tyler referenced, some of the challenges in intercollegiate athletics. I think we want to have a great hope for the future of our sport. So thanks for being here, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Tim. Can we all please give a round of applause to Brian Williams and his crew for all the video work? I've been looking forward to this next little recognition selfishly, because there was a little hijinks involved. We duped this guy back here into thinking that I was going to be introducing some random Hall of Fame video, but I'm going to actually be recognizing Gary Ripple. Gary Ripple is a two-time cancer survivor, survived a heart attack, former dean of admissions to William & Mary, and one of the funniest guys I've ever been around. He's got an incredible sense of humor. He's been our MC for almost 3 decades, and we've got a little video to recognize him. And I just want to give a little bit of a lead into it. It features a couple of his greatest jokes. One of them I've plagiarized. Some of you in this audience who have heard me speak in other venues have heard it already. But the other one involves Billie Jean King, who was at our last 2 induction ceremonies. And all of you guys have a pamphlet, a booklet in front of you of the evening's program. A couple years ago, we were very uncertain about whether Billie Jean was going to arrive. She was coming in on her private jet, and Ann Lebedeff was in contact with her. Is she coming? We weren't sure. Should we ask her to speak? And we found out she was going to come. And about 2 minutes later, I was called down to the front desk where we all checked in. And the woman who was checking people in said, "Tyler, you might want to look at this. In the program, we had asterisks next to the former inductees who were deceased, and there happened to be an asterisk next to Billie Jean's name." I just went into complete panic mode, like, this could be so bad. And so I hustled over to Gary. I said, "Gary, you got to do something with this. You got to make some joke about this." And that is featured in this video. But let's give one more round of applause for Gary.
My name is Gary Ripple, and it will be my pleasure to sit in for President Tim Sullivan, who normally MCs this special induction ceremony. Good evening, and welcome to Williamsburg and the College of William and Mary. We're all familiar with that old saying that one should never fall in love with a tennis player, because to them, love means nothing. It's been pointed out that the program tonight, mentioning the first group inducted in 1995, It has several people with asterisks after their name, indicating that they are no longer with us. And one of the persons with the asterisk is Billie Jean King. Well, as soon as we found this out, we thought it was a printer mistake at first. Then we called in law enforcement, and they helped us trace the source of Billie Jean's demise. It came in a letter from someone by the name of Bobby Riggs. The other day I said to my wife, Susan, I said, Susan, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that I might be standing at the podium in front of a very important group of people and introducing Billie Jean King? She said, Gary, you're not in my wildest dreams.
We're going to have to change her mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great evening. Let's quit while we're ahead. Good night.
Gary Ripple, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy. Well, I've written here, thanks Tyler and Tim for your presence with us this evening and your words of inspiration. And thanks all of you for putting up with that little fun that our videographer and the committee has had with some of my attempts at humor. Let's get down to business now. Let's turn our attention to the main event, the induction of 4 special people who will add to the incredible legends of those who live on in the hall. So sit back and enjoy a video for our first inductee, Jan Brogan.
A legendary figure in the women's college tennis world, Jan Brogan left a legacy comparable to very few. As the Cal women's head coach from 1978 to 2007, Brogan compiled a 539 and 223 dual match record, making her the winningest coach in Golden Bears history. Under her direction, Cal made 26 consecutive appearances in the NCAA tournament and had 19 top 10 finishes. In addition to the Cal team's success, Brogan produced 61 All-Americans, 19 first-team All-Pac-10 players, and 5 Conference Players of the Year. Under Brogan, the Bears captured 4 NCAA doubles titles, with Amanda Augustus and Amy Jensen winning back-to-back championships in 1998 and 1999. Jensen made it 3 straight, teaming with Claire Curran to win that title in 2000. And in 2003, it was Raquel Copps-Jones and Christina Fusano who teamed up to win the coveted title of doubles champions. Brogan coached an NCAA singles champion as well, with Susie Babos winning that prestigious title in 2006. She was voted Pac-10 Coach of the Year 8 times, including 6 straight from 1982 to 1987, and was the Wilson ITA National Coach of the Year in 1990. With a master's degree in sports psychology, Brogan's dedication to coaching has always been paired with her dedication to lifelong learning and her desire to share her knowledge of sports psychology techniques. She says she applied a lot of life and team building skills, especially in her early years at Cal. Sometimes that means just creating a little team spirit, like spray painting your shoes the school colors, blue and gold, before the NCAA tournament. It worked for Brogan's teams. As a coach, she says, you must be committed to grow, to strive for excellence, and be highly motivated to succeed. Jan Brogan, class of 2024.
Here to present Coach Brogan is one of her very talented players who played on 4 of her Cal Berkeley teams. She was highly rated as a singles player, and with partner Raquel, who was then Cops Jones, now Raquel Ottawa, she was both a Pac-10 and an NCAA doubles champion. Please welcome Christina Fusano-Hines.
Hi, you already told me who I was, or who I am. I want to congratulate all the inductees. It's very special, and I want to thank the ITA for doing the blue and gold for the Cal Bear game tonight. When Jan asked me to introduce her, I immediately said yes, and then I realized, how far down on her list am I? How many people did she call before me? Well, Raquel and I were supposed to come together, truth be told, so you get me tonight. Sorry, guys.
Hey, Jan. Congratulations on this honor, this well-deserved honor. Really wish I could have been there in person to celebrate with you. As you know, I'm now a college coach myself, and I just want you to know that your teachings and your philosophies are living on through your athletes. I find myself sounding like you all the time, and talking to my athletes about the things that you taught us that I'll never forget. 2 of those things I think that just stand out the most are the things you taught us about communication and the importance of communication, communicating frequently and respectfully, and being a leader and using your voice, just the importance of using your voice. And those are the things that I talk about with my athletes all the time. And secondly, would definitely be meditation, yoga, stretching, the importance of flexibility and mobility and breathing. These are the things I'm like a broken record with my athletes, and that's stuff I got from you. I still have my very first yoga mat that I got from you with my last name on it. It's still in my garage, and I look at it and I think about you all the time. But yeah, you definitely are living on. I'm very honored and lucky to have had 4 years with you. And you're constantly evolving and changing, and I know you will continue to do so. So all the best. Well, congratulations, and go Bears.
Jan accepted the Cal coaching job in 1978, roughly the year that Oski, our mascot, was born. And the rest is history. I was fortunate to have multiple options, and deciding to play for Jan Brogan, oh, Guy, I saw you crying, now I don't want to cry, was one of the best decisions of my entire life. I was lucky enough to be part of your legacy from 99 to 03. You led with poise, determination, and grit. Being a 3-year captain, I worked pretty closely with her, and after a couple years of me pleading and whining, you finally let me play with Raquel, and we became your 4th NCAA doubles champion. I could go on for hours and hours about the life lessons you taught us, and all of your athletes. You were giving with your time on and off the court, but I'm going to focus on 3 important points. The first one is mental toughness. Jan was a pioneer in athletics. Before it was in vogue to talk about mental health, she was teaching a class on it. There are many student athletes at Cal that owe their success to you. All of the athletes knew who my coach was, and it made me proud. All the former players I connected with praised you in this area. I'm talking to you about you. It's kind of a mix. There's one story in particular that stands out, and I wish I was there to see this. It may not have ended how you had hoped, but it left a lasting impression on this athlete and made her forever mentally tougher. You guys were playing at the University of Arizona, and it was coming down to the last doubles match, and Veena Prabhakar was down 4-5. She was looking around because she heard a bunch of wrestling in the bushes. She couldn't figure out what was going on. Was it a squirrel? Was it an iguana? She had no clue, and after a couple distracted points, she's ready to return, looks up, and there's Jan up in a tree, signaling where to hit the ball. Veena completely whiffs, misses the return. Needless to say, Jan would do anything to win a match that day. Nutrition, the second one, nutrition and fitness. Now imagine going to college in Berkeley. It's a wild, weird, progressive place, and Jan fit right in. With that being said, I truly feel like she was ahead of her time. Her fast-forward thinking helped all of us athletes. For example, more than once, other coaches on campus thought we were the actual track team because of our rigorous training out on the track. Also, I'm going to do a side note. This might throw me off, but there's a lot of players that they were with Jan in her earlier years, and apparently she got very soft the later years, and I would say I'm kind of in the later years, so just keep that in mind. I think some of these stories could be a little bit harsher, but for example, we also would run in the Berkeley Hills. There's some trails up there. You get to the top, you think you're done, and then all of a sudden you do this connector. It's like running up a sheer cliff. You got to sprint up this. And then yoga. Raquel kind of stole this from me. No other college teams were doing yoga, and there was Jan teaching us downward dog, warrior one. She would also try to encourage us to have a healthy diet, which is hard in college. I'm sure you guys back there feel that. She never took herself too seriously, though. One of my teammates, Jody Schelt, was on a 10-win match streak, and she was notorious for eating hot dogs and hamburgers. And Jan just said, keep on doing that. You're okay. Okay, sorry, I got messed up. Lastly, intensity. Jan always played within the rules, but she would push them, and I loved her for that. During matches, she would zip around the court. 1 minute she's on court 6, you turn around the next minute she's on court 1 with her words of wisdom. It was my senior year, and we were one of the top teams in the nation, and we were playing up at Oregon. It was a must-win match because we were trying to stay ahead of the rankings of a team, and I think they're in the South Bay. It starts with an S. Anyway. Yeah, I don't even remember what they're called. Barely even know what they look like. We might have come into the match a little cocky, but not Jan, of course. We started slowly, and before I knew it, it was coming down to my singles match. And what a script. I'm the only senior, and the pressure was on. Jan found me at the back of the fence, of course, third set tiebreaker, and she gave me the best advice. Finish this girl off. Now, if you look in the program, there's actually a picture of her like this. It's exactly the look she was giving me. I saw the intensity on her face, but more importantly, the confidence. I went, after a long match point, I hit a forehand winner. I don't think I've ever hit a forehand winner before or after that day. Jan came running on the court in disbelief and said, "Where did that come from?" I said, "I don't know, Coach. I finally listened to you." Took me to my senior year. I think Jan was still in shock as we go to the airport. You know, the girls were all excited, and she calls, we may have been being a little loud. She calls me over, and I'm like, oh no, what did I do now? She congratulated me again, and then she asked me why I couldn't hit more forehand winners. and then proceeded to buy me a shot at the bar. I'm sorry that secret is out. For the record, I was 22 years old. So, to conclude, they only allowed me a few minutes. I know I went way over it. I did tell one secret. I may have a couple more. I'll be at the bar later. Without further ado, I'm so honored to introduce the most dynamic, trailblazing, fun-loving, badass tennis coach in the country, my friend Jan Brogan.
Tennis is a sport of prima donnas. And so pretty much when they come to college, their family, everything's been focused around them, right? So as it needs to be. But then they come and they're on a team, and they're not the most important person on the team. There's all their teammates. And even though there's obviously a pecking order, because there always is in sports, developing that we're all in it together, one for all for one kind of thing, that was incredibly challenging at times. But it's when that happens, I think it really does have an impact on them for their life, because all the studies say if you played on a team in college, you do well in business. You do. Vina, who's here, she became a doctor. She said it really helped her get through medical school, So there's what any student athlete learns as a collegiate athlete really helps them in their life.
Cheers.
There's a shot in there.
I brought this up because I know I'm going to cry. Here we go. Oh, gosh. How's that? Well, first of all, thank you to that committee for selecting me. I thought, I was long gone and forgotten, and then I get this wonderful phone call from the coach that used to be at that school in the South Bay, Frank. And I was so, thank you. And I brought my note cards. So being in the Hall of Fame last night, being in the room and walking around, and it's a lot of activity, so I went back today, and I think I feel even more honored, really. It's just pretty incredible, all the people who've been inducted before me, and some that I was thinking now, how did that person get in before I? They must have had somebody on the inside, which I finally have. So I want to thank the committee. I want to thank all my former athletes who came. There's really a nice cross-section of years. And assistant coaches, and Amanda Augustus came to represent my, she was hired the year that I retired. Thanks for coming, Amanda. There are many players here who were recruited and offered scholarships, and there are many players here that were walk-ons. And I have to say, the walk-ons contributed as much to the team and the cohesion of the team as any scholarship player, any player who won a match for us. They, when we go on our team building activities, one person here, we did a ropes course, and she was like as high as this ceiling coming down on the scariest thing, and I just thought, that is just amazing. I mean, really amazing what you don't expect from some of your people. Or when we go rafting as a team building activity, and then you'd see who would be like feverishly rowing, and then the person who's hanging out in the back just chilling out, and we all know those players, right? So it's like, get in the boat and row. We all row together. So there were many activities we did. We went hiking. We lived close enough to Yosemite to hike up Half Dome, challenged by choice, but half the team hiked up Half Dome. I did not, but enjoyed the hike. And so we did activities like that because I felt it was really important way to develop cohesion off the tennis court. So people weren't competing against each other. Didn't matter if you were the top player on the team or the 10th player on the team when we were in that environment. So I think that was really some of my fondest memories. Occasionally I'd have a player who'd say, do we really have to go on that hike? And I'd say yes. I'd like to thank my assistant coaches, some of the assistants. My assistants were here. We never do anything by ourselves without some of the most fantastic assistant coaches, associate head coaches that I was really honored to work with. I never personally, but we as a team never would have achieved most of the success that we did as a team, as well as individual titles, doubles titles, etc. So thank you. Thank you for your commitment, because I can tell you they don't get paid enough. And if you're an assistant coach in here, you know what I'm saying, even to this day. Thank you to my sister for coming, family, my sister Laura, my brother-in-law Dave, and my longtime partner Alana. Thank you. One thing that we saw on the video, but I really want to make a note of this, is we all in here stand on the shoulders of those women. Betsy Nagelson, Billie Jean King, that whole initial gang who decided to form Women's Tennis Association. Billie Jean, who was an absolute advocate for creating equality in sports, which of course got women's tennis off the ground, but also look at the impact on all other intercollegiate athletic sports for women. Title IX, without her and without those many other women like her, we would never be where you are sitting today, getting what you receive and what I received in terms of salary increases, funding for beautiful facilities like you have here at William & Mary, and really nice uniforms. I mean, I'm not kidding. Nice uniforms and more than a couple of pair of tennis shoes a year. So I just really wanted to acknowledge that, because they were important to me when I was a young player as terms of guiding light, and in terms of me being a pretty strong feminist and standing up for female and women's equality. So it was actually very important for me to say that and to thank them, because it's very easy to forget the people that worked really hard to get us where we are today. And watching, the women's circuit, watching the WNBA or Olympic soccer, I mean, it's incredible. I never thought I would see it in my lifetime. So Christina talked quite a bit about my coaching philosophy, I think. When John and I served on many ITA operating committee year after year after year at the coaches conventions. And one year, my former assistant and I, Kathy Toon, got this great idea that we would start a college coaches sports science committee. And, you know, sports psychology and sports medicine, sports science was really an interest for me and for both of us. So we went to David in the operating committee and they said, sure, go for it. And so we invited coaches from each division, 1, 2, 3, JC, and we did it. And we put it together. And at the coaches conventions and I told Kathy, I'm too busy coaching, so once we get this going, you have to do all the hard work. So she did. We started an annual coaches convention at the coaches convention, sports science committee. We had people like Dr. Jim Lair come. She actually even got Chris Everett one time to come, and she was interviewed on stage. And many coaches were involved from all different levels, divisions, which was very important to us. So it's something I don't think it's happening anymore, but it's something that I'm really proud that we did. And as Christina mentioned, my last couple of years, I asked the education department if I could teach a sports psych class for student athletes. And you know, they could sign up for 1 or 3 units. And it was a variety of student athletes I volunteered. And it was approved by the university, and I taught that class for about 3 years. Had a wide variety of athletes from different sports. And I would have to say that out of all the sports, the aquatics program, even though the swimmers were in there to get their unit, they really didn't need me. Aquatics was already doing that, but the majority of the other sports were not engaged in much work on the mental game, at least from their team, from their coaches. So that was something I was very happy I was able to make that contribution to Cal Athletics before I retired. So I think overall my philosophy was, you're coming to one of the best universities in the world, just striving for excellence, graduating, to be excellent, not perfect, because there's no perfect, to reach for the moon because you might catch a star on the way down, to be the fittest, as Christina mentioned. I just figured so many of the other teams early on had more higher ranked players than we did. So I thought if we got in such good shape and you pushed them to the third set, you'd have a really good chance of beating them. Because usually the mentally weaker players, when you get them in the third set, is when they might crumble for you. So fitness was really important to me. Christina said a lot about the other parts of that, but never giving up, always finding a way to win, and learning how to really know your game, to use your strengths, to know what your weaknesses are, but to use your strengths, to know your opponent, know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and to use your strengths against their weaknesses. So really teaching each player to become very smart players was important to me. So I didn't have to run from court 1 to court 6, back to court 3 as often. Don't beat yourself by making mental errors. We had a volunteer assistant who came back to finish school, Melissa Gurney, who had been ranked 1 in the nation like for every year since she was a young kid. And she played on the tour. She came back and she was helping, and after like the first, I swear, week, she said to them, "What is wrong with you? You make one mistake and you get upset." I'm like, because this player never cracked, you know. It was like tiebreaker in the third set. I said, "You just keep telling them that because they're not paying attention to me anymore." So teaching the mental game, teaching how to play from your strengths, playing as a team, doubles team, learning how to work together as a doubles team, as Amanda knows, playing when she and Amy were a doubles team. You know, sometimes we were just the referee. Okay, now you go to your corner, you go to your corner, calm down, and then they come back and play. And they did pretty well. They won 2 consecutive doubles titles, NCAA doubles titles. When you lose, because everybody loses, just learn from it and move on. Just learn from it, let go, move on. Be a team player, because nobody ever wins by themselves. Even if you think that you are the only one on the court, your parents got you there, your coaches got you there, your teachers got you there, and so everybody contributed to you being the excellent player that you are. So we're all in it together. My philosophy is we're all in it together. We all win together, and we all lose together. And working on that team cohesion was incredibly challenging in the sport of tennis because it's an individual sport. So teaching that and getting people to really commit to that in college was really one of my favorite things to do, because when all of that came together, it was just beautiful. We didn't have to win a national title as a team. When that came together, that was like as good as that. So my final thoughts. I loved being a teacher, coach, mentor. I stayed engaged for 29 years by looking for areas that I could learn in and become a better coach, and then share that with my players. When I was younger, I loved to run with them. I hit a lot of balls. I completely wrecked my body. And, and I loved every single minute of it. So thank you. Thank you for the honor.
Our second inductee adds yet another star to this evening's program. Please enjoy this video for Coach John Peterson.
John Peterson grew up in a small Iowa town, playing football, basketball, track, and baseball through high school. There were no tennis courts in that Iowa town. He attended Buena Vista College in Storm Lake, Iowa on a football scholarship. But one day at Buena Vista, he was handed a tennis racket, so he taught himself to play. After college, he coached high school football with the goal of becoming the next Vince Lombardi. Instead, at Tyler Junior College in Tyler, Texas, he became the college tennis version of the great Green Bay Packer coach. Peterson accepted the offer to coach the men's and women's tennis teams at Tyler in 1987. In his 24 years at the college, he won 23 junior college national championships, 11 with the men's team and 12 with the women's team. And in 5 of those years, both the men's and women's teams were crowned national champions. At Tyler, he cultivated a culture of camaraderie and resilience, where players were nurtured not only as athletes, but as individuals. He admits he didn't talk to the men's players the same way he talked to the women, but he treated them both the same. They practiced and played hard, often together. Between his college days and before he started coaching at Tyler, Peterson was a pilot in the United States Air Force. He used his Air Force training skills, emphasizing teamwork and character development every day on the tennis court. Peterson's dedication and impact were recognized by all, earning him 10 Junior College Coach of the Year awards. And in 2000, the title of National Junior College Coach of the Decade, the only coach to ever receive this honor in both the men's and women's divisions. He was also recognized by the legendary Billie Jean King, who loved and adopted John's Tyler teams as they were winning tournaments played using World Team Tennis rules, where men and women played equal roles in team competition. Of course, the brainwork of Billie Jean. Today, Peterson remains a steadfast fixture in Tyler, his passion for tennis undiminished. John Peterson, class of 2024.
Here to present Coach Peterson is someone who spent 26 seasons as coach of women's tennis at the University of Alabama. Jenny Mines earned many accolades, including SEC Coach of the Year 3 times and ITA National Coach of the Year. Please welcome a member of the Blue Gray National Tennis Hall of Fame, Jenny Mines.
Wow. There's a lot of legends in this room and a lot of future legends in the back of the room. So we all know that's where it starts. That's why you coach, that's why you mentor, that's why you teach. You tell people what they can do. So hopefully at some point, some of you will be up here and either introducing someone or being recognized or just being part of the Hall of Fame. So this is great. It's the first time that I've been to the Hall of Fame, and it is fantastic. Tyler, you've done a commendable job. I didn't realize you were in this role, but it is awesome. So great job. And the ITA, I was walking with Coach just a little bit, Coach Peterson, and a lot of coaches in here, and I said, this is quite an event. Now, ITA puts on a really special event. So congratulations to all of the 2024 inductees. The contributions that you've made. I mean, I remember when I first got into coaching, and Coach Brogan, I certainly looked up to you and Sheila Mack and a lot of others. And y'all are legendary, all of you, whether you're in the Hall of Fame now or you will be soon. My job is to honor and recognize Coach Peterson, which is certainly a tremendous pleasure and privilege. I played for Coach Peterson in high school, graduated from high school in 1987, so that was a long time ago. I think my math isn't very good, but over 40 years. And we've stayed connected and stayed in touch. I kind of took a blueprint from his coaching philosophy, and really it's kind of basic. It was all about the team. It was team, 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 all the time. Even though tennis is very individual, and certainly you need to recognize that and respect that, but I'm certain that his experience in the Air Force, playing football, college football, he played basketball and baseball too. I don't know if you knew that. And ran track, was quite an athlete. He could run circles around us when I was in high school, that's for sure. But he took that philosophy of just emphasizing team in every way. And it was the secret weapon. It was the recipe for success no matter what happened. And so all of us learned to play together. And we cared about each other. We played for each other. We brought out the best in each other because that's what he emphasized every day. He talked about things like character, integrity, sportsmanship, family, the value of hard work, the value of being a good teammate. We forget that sometimes, but it's really important to be a good teammate, and that means in everything you do in life, being a husband, a wife, a partner, a friend, being a good teammate to all of you that are still playing. I mean, you'll never regret being a good teammate, and you never know the impact that you're making in someone's life when you're doing it. The impact that Coach Peterson has had on my life, and I know, I think there are several people here that played for him at Tyler Junior College, or at least one or two. Hung Fo, he played for him in high school with me, and he came tonight. You know, it's easy to talk about him because he made it such a special experience. He was tough. He was very disciplined and believed in that, but he knew how to love you. We knew he loved us, and he told us he loved us, you know, and he loved us whether we won, whether we lost, whether we misbehaved on the court, which happened a couple times, and he let us know right away that would not happen again. But those are values that you take for the rest of your life. So, of course, I didn't go by my script at all, but and I will wrap it up. But I guess one thing is, he won 23 national championships. Most coaches don't win one. You know, and to be at that level, and I played for him in high school, but he won there too. But he had those winning characteristics. You know, it starts from your heart. It starts about caring for people, loving people, pouring into kids, pouring into people, building relationships. Because life is about building relationships. He's taught me, I mean, I could talk for 3 days and I won't, but he has taught not only me, I'm speaking on behalf of all his former players from Churchill High School, Tyler Junior College. Coach Peterson, thank you for everything that you've given to us. You've given us so much that for the rest of our lives we'll carry with us. And we've built lifelong relationships and friendships because of it. And lastly, his true dream team is sitting at that table. His wife, Dorothy, his daughter, Angie, and her husband, Dale, his son, Wyatt, and his wife, Erin. I just met her today. That's the true dream team. They supported him and encouraged him and stood by him through good, bad, and everything in between. And y'all are certainly this is your award too. So thank you, Coach. I love you.
Take a picture.
I always believed in the team concept. Tennis is a hard game, very hard game, and you're basically on your own. And kids grow up, and their mom or their dad takes them to tournaments, and it's so insular. I tried to stress team because that's what now you're playing. You got 6 girls singles players, 3 doubles teams, 6 boys, same. And you got to learn to play together and like each other. So I just did it like football. Hollered, spit, cussed, and kind of treated the women the same as the men. And it seemed to work for me. Geez, hard to top that. Thank you, Jenny Mines. Many years ago, well, she asked me to give the induction speech when she got inducted into the Blue-Gray, the Alabama Hall of Fame, which I was pleased to do. She inducted me into the ITA Men's Hall of Fame. She's going to be in this Hall of Fame someday. She should be. When she took over at Alabama, it wasn't as high-powered as the Alabama men's football team. It was kind of an intramural team, and she built it into a top 10 in the nation team. She had a doubles team win back-to-back NCAA titles, the lady can coach. And she was a joy. She didn't play for me at Tyler Junior College, but I forgive her that. I forgave Jan for not recruiting any of my girl players, so, you know. I'm a very magnanimous person. I have a big heart. But she was a joy to coach, and I wish I knew what I was doing then. Because I'm from the little town that I'm from, Missouri Valley, Iowa. You know, there was no tennis courts. There was no tennis team. I didn't know it was a sport. I knew one of the guys on the tennis team in college, knew him vaguely, but I never went to a match or anything like that. And it was not while I was in the Air Force. It was just before I was a football coach at Fort Dodge, Iowa, kind of a big town in Iowa. And I had a third period student in my English class tell me that I should take up tennis. It's fun. You'd be good at it. That was the magic sentence. You'd be good at it. And the tennis courts were right next to the practice football field. So one day I went down to Oberg's sporting goods store and I bought myself a new racket. It was a Tony Trabert for $10. It's hard parting with $10, but I did it. And then I needed somebody to play with, so I thought I'd get one for Dorothy, my wife. I got her a Don Budge, and it was $5. And it looked like Don Budge may have used it because the varnish was all cracked. And, you know, he won the Grand Slam in the 30s, and I started learning how to play in Fort Dodge. And then I went in the Air Force. I would have got a better plane if I would have paid more attention to the link trainer and the books, but I played so much tennis. I can remember playing for 10 hours one day, and I putting a sock on my hand because I had blisters. What a neat sport. I wish I would have known it when I was a kid. Maybe I'd have been good. But I got out of the Air Force in San Antonio and didn't know what the heck I was going to do. You know, I applied for jobs as a bank vice president if I could get that. That wasn't happening, so I got a job as a middle school coach, football, basketball, and track, and coaching physical education classes. And I was kind of enjoying it. And my duties during lunchtime was to manage the playground, junior high kids, you know, if they get into a fight or heavy petting, you know, all of those things. I was supposed to break that up. And the tennis courts were right next to the lunchroom, so I got us a ball machine from the PE budget, and during lunch I'd hit a few forehands, a few backhands, and watch the playground. The tennis coach was a good guy, a shop teacher, and he must have put it on his resume that he had played tennis or interested in it, but I don't think he really knew anything about tennis. And there was a small pocket there at Nimitz Middle School of wealthy people who took tennis lessons and stuff. And one day the principal he summons me to his office and he says, "Coach, you're going to be the tennis coach." And I explained to him how you can't be the tennis coach when you're coaching football and track at the same time of the seasons. But he informed me that I could. Not only I could, I would. And so that's how I got into tennis coaching. And it's been a journey, you know, it's been a journey that ends up here. You know, I get the call from Tyler, you've been appointed into the Women's Tennis Hall of Fame. I thought it was a joke. But he assured me that it was real, and here I am. I want to thank the ITA and Jenna, wherever she's been phenomenal, the way she's kept this together. Brian for his diligence working on the film. Me with my wife trying to go through pictures to find some stuff to send. I have to coach Miss Mines. She's one of my very favorite coaches, and one of my very favorite people that I've ever coached. I love that woman. I do. My wife, I owe everything to her. When I first took this job at Tyler Junior College, you know, when I was coaching at Churchill High School, all these rich kids that were good players, I tried to push them away from junior colleges because I had a bad perception of junior colleges. You know, that's not a real education and everything. I confess that I did, and I had a few kids that took junior college scholarships, and good for them. But it was the best thing that ever happened to us, other than going south and realizing that you can play tennis in the South. My wife was sometimes the assistant coach because it was just me, you know, and I coached the men's team and the women's team. And to be any good, all you coaches and players know you got to have a schedule, and you can't always you don't get a double header with all at the same place. So Van's going different ways, and she'd have to take off work. She was a research chemist then, and she'd take the team. So I owe her everything. And she has better winning percentage than I do for hers, so she must have been okay. I want to thank my lovely daughter and my son, because they put up so much with an absentee dad, and I was pushy. You know, I was pushy. You better get out, hit the track. You need to do some running. You know, let's hit some forehands. We got into backpacking, and they're just little kids, and I thought, just a couple more miles. We'll be all good, you know. Let's see what's over that mountain. I wouldn't want to be my kid. But it turned out all right. Anyway, you know, Mr. Sefcik making me the tennis coach, I was so upset, you know, because I had no idea. I was too cheap to take lessons. I watched everybody. I asked questions. As I said, I would have got a better plane if I wouldn't have played so much tennis. But, you know, I got to where I was decent at it. And I need to thank those Nimitz parents who put pressure on the principal for making me be the tennis coach. Because it led to, you know, I had no ambition to be a high school coach. I was still figuring out what I wanted to do. And when I took that job at Churchill High School, I was exposed to some very good players, some really good players. They won a bunch of state team champions. And in those days, well, it still is, for Texas, the fall season is team tennis season. And play just like at Cal. You play 6 singles and 3 doubles. That's only half, because you have the women's team playing 6 singles and 3 doubles, the men's team playing 6 singles and 3 doubles, and all the points count together. And I quickly figured out almost everybody had a good boys' team. Not very many people had a good girls' team. They were girls then. So I started the summer program just for girls, you know, made it cheap. And developed some really, really good girls' teams. One year we won the Interscholastics, beat the IMG girls, won the whole thing, and that's one of the players there. So women's tennis was very important to me. My daughter, I wanted her to be great. But she played 4 years of collegiate tennis, and I hope she enjoyed it. But I sure enjoyed the fact that she did. In tennis, as my wife would say, it kind of turned into my life. Her sister too. I owe her sister for the college job, because I'm there at this good high school, 9 years, and I get a call, and I thought somebody was playing a prank on me because he sounded like he had a mouthful of mashed potatoes. But it was just that East Texas accent, and he asked me if I was interested in the Tyler Junior College job. And I was living in San Antonio. I'd never been in this city of Tyler. It's a long ways from San Antonio. And it was always the last major zone of the year. And I always made sure that Angie had in all her requirements so that I didn't have to drive all the way to Tyler, Texas. I'd never been there. And he called and to see if I was interested, and I said no. And then the vice president of the school and Billy Jack Doggett, the athletic director, and they called again a little bit later. And, I said I still wasn't interested. And they just wouldn't quit calling. I finally drove up there, and Tyler's town, a little over 100,000 in the piney woods. Beautiful campus. I was used to junior colleges looking like Wendy's. But, this one had buildings and had a pretty nice tennis center. And I liked what they said, so I ended up taking that job. And how'd they know about me in the first place? Well, her older sister, Susan Mines, had just played at Tyler, and Robert Cox, who was the coach, he was transitioning. He was going to the University of Arkansas to be the head coach, and he was put in charge of trying to find somebody to replace him. And Susan, Jenny's older sister, said, "Well, you ought to call my high school coach. He'd be good. He'd be good." So they did. They made, it was like the mafia. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. The best decision of my life. I also see down here I need to take the staff at Trinity University, where one of our inductees is from that particular school. And they used to play Division I tennis. Now they're Division III tennis. And they were the best in the nation, one of the best in the nation. At times the best, in men's and women's. And I used to watch that lady play all the time when I was there in the Air Force. Watched her play when they would have dual matches, and I would take our girls' team to watch her play. And the men, it was the same thing, and their coach, Clarence Mabry, let me be privy to what he was doing. It's kind of a mentor for me. And he sent me a few players over the years that had been at Nukes, where he was one of the founders of John Newcomb's tennis ranch in New Braunfels. So I've had I owe him and Emily Foster, who was her coach. I worked with and for Emily a few times, and I learned a lot from her. Bob McKinley, who was a coach, took over for Clarence, good friend of mine. I've been associated with so many winners, so many just great men and women from the coaching fraternity. And it's such an honor to be here. At first I thought, what a joke. This is Division I. And then I said, they got a Division III player and a JUCO coach in the same class. What is going on? But I salute the ITA and I salute the committee for being that diverse, because tennis is for the masses. Tennis is for everyone. My wife plays on, I'm not going to tell you how old she is. We just had our 60th wedding anniversary, though. That'll give you a hint. She's the captain of all these age group teams, and she's getting kind of senior with it, but she's on the phone all the time. She's playing 55s, 65s, everything they've got. And that's who tennis is for. And it's for the little kids. It's the most beautiful sport that I've ever been associated with. It's hard. Football is easy. I try to get out of the way so I don't get crushed. That's your basic philosophy. But tennis, and you got to win every damn point. You can't just get ahead and go, hey, how do you like that? You got to win every point. It's hard. It is hard, but it's beautiful. And when it's played well, it's poetry. And I'm so glad to be associated with the sport. And I am so humble to be surrounded by this audience. I know a lot of you. I see Ann Lebedev's smiling at me. It was an honor to play on her court. Sheila McInerney sent me one of the best girls and the best athletes I ever had. I've led a charmed life, and I hope I get a couple more semesters out of it. Thank you.
Adding to the luster of this year's inductions, let's enjoy this video for Louise Allen.
Louise Allen's journey into the world of tennis was unconventional. With natural athleticism and a strong determination, she quickly propelled herself into the tennis spotlight at the age of 17. She turned that athleticism and determination into an outstanding all-court game under the direction of her first coach, the legendary Wake Forest University men's coach, Jim Layton. Louise credits Layton with taking her talents to the next level, and she displayed those talents at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. At Trinity, she became a 4-time All-American and captured the 1983 NCAA Division I women's doubles title with partner Gretchen Rush. Allen also teamed with Rush, a 2019 inductee of this same Hall of Fame, to capture the 1983 Pan American Games women's doubles title. At the U.S. Open in New York that year, she was honored by the USTA as the Junior Fed Cup MVP, picked from a group of future stars on the Women's Pro Tour. And Louise was the recipient of the Broderick Award, now known as the Honda Sports Award, given annually to the nation's best collegiate women's tennis player. Not a bad year for this rising tennis star. As a college senior, she ascended to a world ranking of 72 and reached the third round at Wimbledon and the second round at the U.S. Open, both in the main draw. Also in her senior year, she was the top seed in both singles and doubles at the NCAAs. But Louise suffered career-threatening ACL injuries to both knees, and that kept her out of the game for most of the next 2 years. She is most proud, however, by later reaching a career-high world ranking of 62 while competing in 27 Grand Slam events over the course of her 13-year WTA career. Louise's passion for the sport remains strong, as evident in her support for her eldest son, Layton, named after her first coach and his promising game. That determination she showed on the court has laid the foundation for her personal and professional success today. Louise Allen, class of 2024.
Who better to present Louise Allen than the most successful women's collegiate tennis player in history? Patty Fendick McCain won 2 national singles titles while playing on a Stanford team that won 3 national team titles. She was named the most outstanding student athlete of the first 25 years of NCAA women's tennis. Please welcome Patty Fendick McCain.
I'm old now, so. Okay, first of all, I want to say good evening and congratulations to all the inductees, their families and their friends. A lot of people have traveled from great distances to be here, and it means so much to all of us for you to be here. Louise's family is here, her sons, her wonderful sons, her sister and her mom and her high school friend, and all of our golfing buddies that came, kind of tagged along to have some fun with us. Thank you to all of you. It's my pleasure to introduce a remarkable woman, my friend, Louise Allen. I'm gonna cry. Many of you might be wondering why I'm introducing Louise tonight. It's not because I was her doubles partner. It's not because we were practice partners back when she was on the tour and I was still at Stanford. Yes, that school you don't want to mention. It's not because of all the hours we logged as tennis parents for our oldest kids. It's not because of everything that we've been through together with all of our families' health crises and whatnot. And it's not because we were teammates. Although I really did try to go to Trinity, I had a recruiting call with the coach who told me that I was not Trinity material. The truth of the matter is, all great players need the support of great teams. And for the last several years, I've been an integral part of Louise's team, her caddy. It's only fitting that I tee off for her tonight. So you might be wondering, what is Trinity material, and what gift did Louise possess that made her so? Well, for those of you that have known us for a long time, Louise is the calm before the storm, and I'm generally the storm itself. I think that's probably the answer that the coach at the time would have given you. I had to, I'm sorry. Anyway, I know a bunch of you over at the Trinity table are going, she's not my teammate. Louise is one of the most humble people I know, a trait that has defined her both on and off the tennis court. Our friendship spans over 35 years, but it didn't start as friends, but it started as adversaries on the courts. Yet in all those years, I've never once seen her boast about her accomplishments. In fact, Louise was so humble about her tennis career that her own son, Leighton, when he was first starting out on his own tennis journey, had no idea that his mom played tennis. The secret finally came out when I was coaching at UT and introduced my team to her, delivering a full synopsis of her tennis career, right in front of Leighton. That was a reveal. You've seen Louise's accolades. They are numerous and impressive. But what they don't fully capture is her resilience, perseverance, and grit. Those are the traits that truly define her. In her senior year, as you saw, Louise was ranked #1 in the country, #1 seed at NCAA championships, well on her way of achieving her dream of playing professional tennis when life took a sudden and painful turn. However, it wasn't about the tremendous, tragic injuries that she suffered or all of the botched surgeries after. The story that was told then was about how she handled it and about her perseverance. It's about how she defied the odds, clawed her way into the top 100, played all the Grand Slam events, won a few events, and made her mark on the sport. Transitioning away from a game that defines so much of who we are is never easy, but Louise reinvented herself with the same determination and drive that drove her in tennis. She went back to school, earned her MBA, and transitioned into tech, specializing in product management. She didn't just dip her toes into the new world, she worked her way up, startup after startup, like she was playing her way up a tennis ladder, until she finally broke through to the C-suite, right now as the Chief Product Officer at PlanView. Yeah. In the corporate world, she's the kind of boss everyone dreams of having: smart, fair, humble, and an incredible leader. In every sense, Louise is the person you want in your foxhole. Tennis, especially in our era in the 80s, it was a unique battlefield. The competition was intense, bordering on psychological warfare at times. I don't think any of us expected to build lasting friendships from it, but the understanding we developed through those shared experiences has led to some of the deepest, most meaningful connections. When I moved my family to Austin, one of the first people I saw when I walked in was across a peewee soccer field where our kids were about to play, and I knew her walk from 100 yards away. I recognized her right away, and since then our paths have intertwined through our children's activities, swim meets, junior tennis tournaments, all sorts of things, and now through our mutual love of golf. In fact, during the early days of COVID, Louise called me and was like, "Hey, we need to play golf. We got to get out there. It's the only thing we can do outside." And as you can imagine, with our competitive backgrounds, there was a lot of negotiation. There was a lot of ground rules that were set because we weren't going to have to compete at this anymore. But that was classic Louise. Calm, practical, and always focused on keeping things moving forward. To wrap things up, I'll say this. Some people come into your life and become foxhole friends for a reason. Louise Allen is that friend for me. From practice partners in Northern Cal in the 80s, to all of our kids' activities, to playing golf weekly, our lives have intersected in countless ways. And I'm so grateful for every one of those moments, and I'm so proud of her for being inducted into the ITA Hall of Fame. Let's give a big hand for Louise Allen.
There's so many people in that hall that I've looked up to my entire career, and just are legends, and just to be part of that is pretty overwhelming, to be honest. And I'm in a couple other Hall of Fames, but this one is the pinnacle, to be honest, and never thought that this would ever happen. And just was so excited to get the call, but then actually to see it being real and see your picture there, it's an amazing experience. My kids were reading about some of the things, and they're like, "Mom, I didn't even know you did that kind of." But it's been awesome to celebrate with my friends. I have a lot of people here, my family, my teammates, and it's been a great weekend, and I'm just so honored to be here and to be participating and just to be part of it, to be honest.
Oh wait, I get to give you a picture. Hey, we're definitely drinking beers out of these later.
I know, don't worry, yeah. Okay, she had one job, and it was to not make me cry, and she's completely failed at that already, so thank you, Patty. Now, if anybody has any doubt why I picked Patty to introduce me, you see she did such a great job, so I really appreciate it. And the part she didn't tell you about the golf is we have a nickname that we play a lot of golf together, and it's Luaddy. Louise and Patty, Luaddy. So I hope we get to play a lot more tournaments together and a lot more golf together. And thank you, friend, seriously. Thank you for everything. Thank you. First thing I want to say is thank the ITA. This is an honor I never thought I would ever receive or even dreamed about, to be honest. And Jenna has been amazing. Thank you. Thanks to all the people that made this happen. I had the same reaction yesterday when I went to the Hall of Fame. I'd never been there before, and I had no idea how beautiful it was and how well done it was, the memorabilia. It was so fun to see Gretchen and Patty, my coach. There was a lot of pictures of my friends in there, and it was quite an overwhelming experience, to be honest, to see it for the first time, and what an honor to be even in the same sentence as a lot of those people that are in the Hall of Fame. So thank you, and Betsy, it was very sweet of Betsy. I played with Betsy on the tour. She was always very great for me, very nice to me, and it's another great honor to be part of this as Betsy's legacy. So congratulations to the other inductees. Jan, your teams were always really well prepared. We played each other a lot. You were an amazing coach. you always did things the right way, 100%. So congratulations. It's an honor to be in with you as well. So, John, I don't even know what to say about the number of national championships. That's, yeah, the one thing usually doesn't happen, but the 24, you're exactly right. So I don't care what you're playing, you win like that. That is just amazing. So congratulations, and you're a legend in Texas. There is no doubt about that. So congratulations on your career for 100%. Shelly, who you'll meet in a minute, and I looked at Shelly's record, and again, I don't care what you played, what sport you played. If you have that type of record, you belong in the Hall of Fame. So you'll hear all about Shelly in a little bit, but congratulations to Shelly as well. Had the opportunity to meet her last night, and it's just awesome. So I have a little confession to make before I get into a little bit more of this, that I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with tennis. There's been more love than hate, but the winning and losing you take very, very personally. And it's very hard to separate sometimes what you play tennis and who you are. And it was a very hard lesson for me to learn that just because I lost, I was not lesser than or whatever. And I hope I've talked to my kids about this a lot, playing sports, and learned about that. But it took me a while, even after I finished playing, to learn that lesson. It's a tough lesson to learn. But I came along with that. I almost wanted to divorce myself after I quit playing at 32 years old. I went back to business school at UT and got out, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I have no business experience whatsoever except for playing tennis. I'm like, no problem, I'll just get a job, no issues. Well, I think I applied for, it was at least 20 jobs and didn't even get an interview. So I'm like, maybe we need to come back and embrace this tennis thing a little bit. So I made a really hard phone call, but one that probably changed my life, to be honest. I called Billie Jean King, and I said, Billie, look, I have a favor. Will you please be a reference for me for my job, for a job? I promise it will be one phone call, whatever. She said, she called me Wheezy, by the way. And she said, Wheezy, I'll do it for you. Absolutely. So you can imagine any employer that has Billie Jean King as a reference, you're going to get that interview because they want to talk to Billie Jean King, right? So that is exactly what happened. That is a true story. I got the very first job, and it was a software startup in Austin, and kind of never looked back from there, but literally Billie Jean, and I've seen her a couple times since then, and I told her I could hit a forehand because she never thought I could hit a forehand, but besides that, I just thank her. She remembered, but Jan said some great things, and we do stand upon many, many great women that have paved the way for our sport, and she is absolutely one of them, and I can tell you that, yeah, she changed my life. If I hadn't done that, there's just no telling what my business career would have been like, and so it was amazing. So, Patty mentioned a little bit about, I tore not one ACL, the semifinals of NCAA's on court number 12 against NUSC versus Kelly Henry. I was up 6-3, 4-2, but who would remember anything? But who would remember anything about that? I've completely forgotten all of that, so. But that moment changed my life. I had to figure out who I was as a person after that. Was I a tennis player? Rework my life. The people that really care about you stood by me in that moment, and you found out who your true friends are, and a lot of those friends are all right here. So that was an amazing experience. I worked my way back up. I'm really proud of my career that I was able to play for 8 more years after that. It was a great pleasure to do that. I will tell you that the funny story about what Patty was saying, literally I never talked about my tennis. This is kind of the hate part a little bit, saying I'm going to be so determined that I'm going to make it in business by my own, and I'm not going to have to talk about my tennis and get anywhere on my tennis and all of that. It was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I mean, I realize as I've gotten older now, it's like people are interested, and it's just part of who you are. So I've really embraced that part of me and learned so much in my career about being a leader, winning and losing. how to mentor. I love that there's so many young women here that we do a lot of mentoring in my company. And it really, I have now learned to embrace it a lot more, and I will talk about it and the career that I had. But just tennis was the start of everything for me, and how I gained my confidence and set the stage for the rest of my career. So I'm now back to the very much of the love part on the tennis. So, I talk a lot about this in business. Beth's going to laugh when she hears me say this, but life is a lot about inner circles. Patty called it foxholes. I call it inner circles. How many inner circles do you have in your life? And I've got an amazing amount of inner circles, and a lot of them are here. So I just want to acknowledge a few folks. So my Trinity teammates, TU, baby, TU. Gretchen, we won a lot of titles together, my friend. NCAA's in '83, Pan Am Games. We got the quarters. Yes, it was. I looked it up last night. Okay, we have a disagreement about U.S. Open, but we'll talk about that later. But she was my teammate for a couple years. We got in a lot of trouble together. I'm not going to tell any Gretchen stories because it might involve the flipped golf cart or bathtub, but we won't talk about any of those. But she was an amazing teammate. It's been great to play a lot of matches, and we won a lot of matches together, and played on the tour together, and been through a lot of life together. So thank you, friend. I appreciate it. Lisa, Flash, and Flash is not because she's fast on the court, because what did we say? Sauntering last night is what we decided that the word was. But I will tell you, we were talking about this last night, Lisa never lost a big match, ever. We never lost to Texas. Sorry, Jan, no Cal Berkeley. If you wanted the top six, you could count Lisa's win every single time, and she had the best daggone backhand slice drop shot on the planet. And we played no ad at that point, and every 3-all point, she pulled that out, and she won every time. So amazing. But I love you, friend. It was so cool to have our kids meet, and yes, absolutely. Dabney, although we didn't play on the team together, you're absolutely the most smartest tennis player ever to come through Trinity, and also one of the nicest. And your kindness just comes through, and I thank you so much for being here. It means a lot. So we all miss Lee. We lost a teammate a few years ago. We miss her a lot, so that's tough not to have her here. But anyway, I heard this thing that you pinch yourself, you can stop crying when you speak, so I'm going to have to probably test that out here. But anyway, I don't know if Mo's on FaceTime. If she is, Mo, I love you. Sorry you can't make it. You better daggone win that pickleball tournament. If you're going to miss this event, you better be making, Mo and I have been best friends for over 30 years. Our kids are best friends. We've grown up together. We spend every holiday together. I love you, friend. But next time, no, you can't miss this with pickleball. So, but thank you. I love you very much. We miss you. Thank you for being on FaceTime. Okay, so another inner circle that I'm just so excited to acknowledge is, when you go to a lot of tennis tournaments, and the most fun parents that you have to find to hang out with really quickly. Well, I found mine really fast, and it's Ingrid Crawley. There's no doubt about it, and she is the mother of Fiona Crawley. And I have to say, my father played basketball at Duke. To acknowledge any North Carolina thing is a little bit, but I tell you, Ingrid has been an amazing, every time she was there, we had so much fun. Fiona and Leighton, my son, are good friends, so love you. And Peter, you're the best. So thank you all so much for coming. It means a whole lot. It really does. So, okay, this is where the pinching probably needs to start happening, but Robbie, my childhood friend, I really honestly owe my career to you. I pulled him out every single day in high school and played tennis with him. He did not want to do it every single day, I can assure you. We played so many cross-court games, if you know in tennis. I made him play thousands of cross-court games with me. He had scoliosis. He was wearing a scoliosis brace. when he played tennis, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I pulled up in my Ford Pinto and picked him up, no kidding, Ford Pinto at high school, and took him to high school every day so we could go right home and play tennis. We had his mother's homemade bread every afternoon after that, and I literally, in the town I grew up in, there was not a lot of tennis being played, so I pulled him. He flew in here today, got here at 6 o'clock from Europe to be here, so thank you, love you. My other best friend from high school, Susan, I have not seen her in 4 or 5 years. She's now on the golf touring circuit with me, but she flew in, and it's been so much fun spending time with you. She was my best friend in high school, and we're going to do many more trips together, I assure you. Thank you for coming. So my inner circle for work friends, so Beth is here. Beth runs development. She's my Thelma to Louise in my work. I've been in this company for 16 years. I would never be there without Beth. I love you, friend. And we've done a lot of damage together, and hopefully we can get through the next couple years. And she's also plays golf, which is a plus. So, and Mara, thank you for wanting to hang out with a bunch of old women and make us feel a lot younger and good at golf, but I cannot wait to see what you do in your career. You're amazing, and I've just loved having you as a friend, and thank you so much for making the effort for coming, seriously. Okay, the RP girls, here we are. My golf friends, seriously, when I started playing golf, they make me laugh every weekend. They go through every hard thing with us. We help each other get through things, and I look so much forward. I love all of you so much, and just to make me laugh. I mean, we have LFP and Little Grip and Bazoyan, and we have all these things that they're an amazing group, and I love all of you, and thank you so much for making the effort for coming. It means a whole lot to me to have all of you here. We're going to go to a lot more golf tournaments and get in a lot more trouble, I will tell you. Not going to say anything, but Carolyn, maybe we'll just, So Bob Gramman introduced me when I was lucky enough to get in the North Carolina Tennis Hall of Fame when my son was 1 year old. That was the picture you saw there. When Leighton was 1, Weldon wasn't even born yet. But when I hurt my knees, there was no one else, a coach, that believed in me. And Bob took me under his wing. He fed me tennis balls after my knee surgery. I was sitting in a chair. And every doctor said, you're not going to be able to play tennis again. It was not a common thing to come back from ACL surgery, much less 2 at that time. So I could barely walk. And he went by my side. He believed in me. He was the most positive individual. He said, you can do this. And I believed him, and I did it. And thank you, Bob. So my inner circle family members, my mom unfortunately had to suffer through seeing most of my tennis matches in juniors. She wore a charm bracelet that everybody knew her by. She would clap and everybody would hear the charm bracelets. But now having a son that played tennis and in football and having to be a parent watching this, I am so sorry. That is such a hard job to do. And thank you. I mean, Lisa was telling me funny stories about you wouldn't let anybody leave during my matches if I was winning, and so all these things that I did with Leighton and Weldon too. So you went to work and did multiple jobs to make sure that Nancy and I had what we needed, and thank you so much. I love you. Nancy, my sister, I can't believe she still likes me, to be completely honest. To say that I was an abusive older sister is probably an understatement at this point, but I did make her smell a lot of smelly clothes, like on purpose, like up close and personal and slamming in her face every now and then. Not a lot, but just every now and then. She was a human bridge a couple times when we were younger and all of that, but she's always been in my corner, and she's an amazing aunt to my children, so thank you very much. I love you. So for as much as tennis has shaped me, the two greatest accomplishments in my life are my boys. And all I say is I put two amazing humans out into the world, and they're men, and I'm so proud of both of them, and they look good in a suit, I will say that tonight, so. But I love you boys, thank you so much. So, and the last person I'll thank is, and it was mentioned in my video, is Coach Layton. He passed away a long time ago in the mid to late 80s, and you can tell if you name a son after a tennis coach that that's pretty meaningful. And he taught me tennis, he taught me the love of tennis. I honestly think about him almost still every day. He smoked a pipe, and he had a dog, Molly, that followed him around. He wore all white. He wrote the most amazing tennis book, if you ever want to read, still is so valuable today. He wrote an amazing book, but I hope, Coach, you're proud today, so thank you very much. I'll just say in closing, thank you so much again for this honor, and thanks to the ITA, and I really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you.
Completing our quartet of outstanding inductees to this star-studded evening, let us enjoy this video telling us all about Shelley Keeler-Whelan.
For Shelley Keeler-Whelan, it was her doubles victory at the state high school tennis championships as a sophomore at Mercer Island that sparked her commitment to tennis. She took her winning ways to Pomona College in Claremont, California, excelling on and off the tennis court. At Pomona, Shelley dominated the NCAA Division III tennis scene with 3 consecutive national doubles titles alongside partners Karen Cranston and Erin Hendricks. In 1991, as a junior, Shelley was awarded the Pomona Pitzer Major Award, an honor earned by athletes who've contributed the most to his or her intercollegiate program. But the highlight of her outstanding college career came during her senior year when she clinched the Triple Crown at the national tournament, winning the NCAA Division III singles, doubles, and team national titles. It was that 1992 Pomona team that raised the bar and put the college on the NCAA tennis map. Reflecting on her collegiate years, Whelan fondly recalls the camaraderie of her team and the lasting friendships forged through tennis. To be honest, I remember the matches and hardware the least. My fondest memories are of the team and the friends I made playing tennis. Tennis remains a source of joy and fulfillment as she continues to amass accolades and USTA titles. In 2019, she captured the Women's 40 Indoor Singles Championship and, with partner Christine Hayes, the Women's 40 Indoor Doubles title. Shelley wasn't done there. Last year, she won both the USTA 50 and over national indoor and grass court doubles titles with partner Pernilla Putnick, and she made it a family affair, winning the mother-daughter USTA national tournament title with daughter Lindsay Whelan. Her legacy is a testament to resilience, camaraderie, and the enduring spirit of an athlete who found her calling on the court and in life. Shelley Keeler-Whelan, class of 2024.
Presenting Shelley will be someone who holds many titles at Pomona College: Professor, Associate Director of Athletics, Physical Education Coordinator, and Co-Coordinator of the Faculty Staff Fitness and Wellness Program. Please welcome Lisa Beckett.
All right. Shelley, it looks like we're batting cleanup. So this has been such an incredible evening. And I really want to, I'm so thankful that I was invited to be a part of it. So thank you all. I want to, of course, congratulate Jan, John, and Louise on such a wonderful and well-earned honor. And I want to echo Gary's thanks to all who've worked over so many years to ensure that we celebrate women's intercollegiate tennis. I also want to thank Shelley's family and friends and teammates that are here, but also those who are not able to be here and are here in spirit. I wanted to mention, I attended this event about 27 years ago, and that was when Pomona College, our player Darlene Hart, class of 1961, was inducted, and that was so exciting. And Shelley, I just know that Darlene is so proud of you and so happy for you. Well, Shelley, it's been a real adventure. I can't help but think back to about 36 years ago when Shelley and her dad came to campus for their visit, and you were so exuberant about attending Pomona College and playing tennis for Pomona Pitzer Tennis that it actually made me nervous. I was like, gosh, can we deliver? You asked me if I could watch you hit with your dad, but that at the time was not allowed. You know, it was prohibited because it would be considered an audition. So I told you that, but we had a good visit in our office, in my office, and then you left to attend other meetings. There happened to be a court right outside of my office window. So the next thing I know, Shelley is hitting outside with her father. And every time, you know, she hits a ball, then she looks at me. And of course, I had to turn away. But I did laugh, and I thought to myself, wow, 4 years. So that was just the beginning. So Shelley's nickname was Tough Skins, and you may have seen it up on the video, but Tough Skin is a spray used in athletic training. And Shelley was given that nickname by her teammates because she worked as a student athletic trainer all 4 years, but also because of her toughness and her ability to play through injuries. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But during her freshman year experience at the NCAA tournament, she really figured out what it was like. It was like a marathon. You know, if we qualified for team, you know, she might play 4 matches in singles and doubles. And then if she qualified for the individuals, she'd play 4 or 5 matches in both singles and doubles. And it was a lot. So I think she realized after that what work she had to do. So she worked a lot on her fitness. She worked on her nutrition. I mean, of course, she played a ton of tennis. She worked on her mental wellness. But she really stepped it up because she wanted to do great things for her team. Fast forward to Shelley's senior year, and a few things happened at the 1992 NCAA tournament in Kalamazoo that I will really never, ever forget. And I hope most of you can relate to these as players, coaches, friends, and family. The first one took place right before the championship match. We were playing Kenyon. And you have to realize that 2 of the years prior, both in, I think it was 90 and it was 89 and 90, we had lost to Kenyon. Very close. And they were like our nemesis. And what I wanted most in the world was not to have to play them again. But we were playing them in the finals. So we're having a team meeting in the hotel room. And, you know, the excitement and the anxiety was palpable. There were also a few tears. And so Shelley stands up and, you know, pretty much what she says is, okay, here's the plan. I'm going to win my singles. And Erin and I, that was her partner at the time, Erin and I are going to win our doubles. So all we have to do is win 3 more points. I know we can do it. And there was about 5 seconds pause. Everybody then starts laughing and hugging and crying some more, and we are ready for battle. So Shelley knew how to say exactly what people needed to hear. They needed to hear her steadiness and her confidence in herself and in them. The other thing that I'll never forget is in Shelley's singles match, so she's playing the number one from Kenyon. She's won the first set. She's up 4-2 in the second. And she calls me over. So I come over, go on the court, and she says, I hurt my quad. And I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, let's get the trainer out here. So trainer comes out, evaluates it, says, yeah, she's, looks like she's pulled it a little bit, and tapes her up and tells her to go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so he leaves the court, and she turns to me, and, she had already promised to win number one singles and number two doubles, but she turns to me and goes, I don't know if I can do this. And I wasn't sure, I was panicking, so I tried to calm down, and I finally said to her, she's up 4-2, and I said, she'd already won the first set, and I said, well, do you think you could try to win 2 more games? And Shelley kind of perks up and says, oh, sure, I'll try that. So she goes on, the rest is history, right? She goes on to win her singles for the team, win her doubles for the team. We win the match 5-4, just like she told us to do. And then she goes on to win the singles, individual title and the doubles individual title. So it was perfection. So I wanted to share a few things that her teammates have said about her. One is that Shelley finds joy in working hard and welcomes pressure. It's pretty incredible to welcome pressure, I think. Another says she's a fierce competitor. She not only wears a shirt that says, love the battle, but she truly loves the battle. I want to show you her shirt. You see it? So she's humble, kind, generous, always supporting her teammates and emphasizing the team over the individual. She's both tough and tender, doing everything with a lot of heart. Shelley is an amazing person and friend first, who happens to be a fabulous tennis player. I want to close by sharing a little bit of what Shelley is up to today. She and her husband, Scott, are parents to 3 delightful daughters, Austin, Lindsay, and Reagan, right here up front. And Shelley and her sisters, Allison and Julie, also up here, manage a multi-generational family investment office in the Pacific Northwest. And her parents, Susie, who's here, and Travis, who's not here, are very proud. Shelley is the board president and chair of the Girl Scouts of Western Washington, always working to help girls and women. And Shelley aspires to live by the Girl Scout promise. She continues to support Pomona College in many ways, including offering a summer internship in her family investment office. She's a talented cook and pianist, and finds time to play USTA tennis, and has, as you saw in the video, has amassed 11 gold balls, 11 balls, 7 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronze. And Shelley continues to live life to its fullest, approaching everything with the same passion, energy, hard work, optimism, and determination she showed as a collegiate athlete. So congratulations, Shelley, and keep up the good work.
I am incredibly proud and humbled to be a part of the class of 2024 for this induction. I am thrilled to be representing Pomona College and Division III women's athletics and tennis as a part of this induction class. I learned so much from tennis and from my tennis career. I learned resilience and how to be tough and perform under pressure, how to be a great teammate and a friend, how to help people deal with disappointment and setbacks. Tennis has been the greatest teacher in my life. Wow, thank you, Lisa, and hello, I'm super happy to be here, and I'm even happy to be last. I am deeply honored to stand before you today as an inductee into the Women's Intercollegiate Tennis Hall of Fame. This moment is incredibly special, and I am grateful to share it with all of you. I am especially honored to share it with Louise and with John, as well as with Jan. So congratulations to you guys. It's really incredible. And thank you to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for selecting me for this incredible honor and for making this weekend so special. A heartfelt thank you to Betsy Nicholson and to the late Mark McCormick and Millie West for their vision in creating the Tennis Hall of Fame at the College of William and Mary. Bloom where you are planted. I don't know if anybody else watched Millie West's Induction, but that is a quote from Millie West, a woman instrumental in securing the McCormick-Nagelson Tennis Center as the ITA Women's Collegiate Hall of Fame. And it truly resonates with me. I'd like to share a little bit about my life, although Lisa shared some about my life, and why this quote is so meaningful to me. So as a youngster, I loved tennis, but I had many other interests as well. I played more soccer than tennis until I was 14. I also played piano in a trio with the violin and cello, and I sang in a choir. Tennis was not an easy sport to play in Seattle, as indoor courts were hard to come by. My parents played tennis, but we weren't really a tennis family. There weren't many tennis role models in Seattle, except for Title IX pioneer, Trish Bostrom, whose picture was up with me, and good friend of Ann's, and previous ITA Hall of Fame inductee Janet Atkinson. After a soccer injury in high school, I decided to hang up my soccer cleats and focus on tennis. I had success locally in Seattle, but didn't play any tournaments out of the Pacific Northwest until my senior year of high school. I was the definition of a late bloomer. By the time I was applying to college, I knew I wanted to play college tennis and really wanted to go to school in California. When I got into Pomona, I remember discussing my goals with my dad. He was very supportive, but also realistic, saying, "Well, Shelley, I don't want you to be disappointed if you don't make the team." What I loved most about college tennis was being a part of a team. I've loved the team aspect of soccer, and college tennis was just like that. My first year at Pomona, I was joined by 5 other first-year students at Pitzer and Pomona colleges, and we embarked on our tennis journey together for all 4 years of college. What a gift. When I graduated in 1992, of the 7-woman team that won the NCAAs, 6 of us were seniors. We had been through all the injuries, wins, losses, breakups, and makeups that make you friends for a lifetime. Our sophomore year, we played nationals in Trenton, New Jersey, and we had to move indoors for one of the matches due to rain. Most of my teammates had never played indoors, and it was completely freaked them out. I couldn't believe it. On another occasion during practice, a 5.5 magnitude earthquake shook the courts, and all the lights swayed for several minutes. My senior year, our coach Lisa developed a team litany that we recited before and after every practice and match, and it became our special superpower in 1992. I am sharing this moment with a number of special sage hens from across the years and would like to acknowledge them now. Can you ladies please just briefly stand for me? Trisha, Brenda, Debbie, Mercedes, Karen, Christina, and Nina. Also here, obviously, is my coach for life, Lisa Beckett, who I think you guys have already met. Lisa, thank you for always having the right thing to say and for being the steadying force our team needed to find success. I would also like to acknowledge 2 other Pomona Pitzer women's tennis coaches at the event tonight. Ann Lebedev, an inductee into the ITA Hall of Fame and a board member for this organization, and Mike Morgan, the current coach of the Sagehens, who led them to the national tournament this season. Thank you both so much. So Darlene Hard was a 1997 ITA Hall of Fame inductee, and she's also an alumnus of Pomona College, as you guys have heard, and someone I've met at alumni events and enjoyed getting to know. I'm honored to have followed in her footsteps. So college was over in a quick 4 years, and I felt like I was just getting started. I hadn't had a long junior career and was eager for more tennis. I played mother-daughter nationals on all 4 surfaces with my own mother. We were never that great, but we did play together. And I started entering age group tournaments in the 35s, and I'm still competing, like you've all heard. I was actually on the 50s grass courts last week in Rancho Mirage, where it was 110 degrees every day. And I started playing doubles also with my daughter, Lindsay, here. She plays for the University of Redlands. More than anything, I've loved meeting all these new people who share my passion for tennis. This spring, I'm going to try my hand at assistant coaching the girls' high school team in my hometown of Mercer Island, Washington. I am deeply passionate about helping girls find ways to grow their leadership skills, and I'm looking forward to this new challenge. I'm always looking for new ways to bloom where I am planted. And tennis has given me so many opportunities to lean into friendships, my family, and my community. I am so lucky I was given the opportunity to pick up a racket. So I would like to also acknowledge my family and thank my family for being here and supporting me, my 3 lovely daughters, Austin, Lindsay, and Reagan, my 2 sisters, Allison and Julie. Both my daughters traveled from California to be here, Lindsay at Redlands and Austin at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And to my dad, I'm sorry you couldn't be here today, but I'm looking forward to watching this video with you when I get home. And finally, to my 2 closest friends, Kathy and Kim, who made the log trip from Seattle to be here to support me. Thank you guys for being here. And in closing, I am just filled with gratitude and pride. Thank you for being here to celebrate this milestone with me. The honor is not just mine, but belongs to everyone who's been a part of my journey. Thank you.
This is where I usually say, now that we are approaching the halfway point in our program, I don't think I could fool anybody with that. Once again, congratulations to our newly minted Hall of Fame members. This has been a very special evening. Past ceremonies were never complete, however, until we enjoyed a taste of William and Mary talent. And tonight we will continue our tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the gentlemen of the college.
There's a guy sitting
Thanks to the gentlemen for adding their special talent and joy to our program. We had to pull them from the library to perform. I know they're all headed back to their studies, which is a tradition of what it's like to be a student at William & Mary. If I could add 2 minutes to the program, I have to express my sincere gratitude for the recognition that I received earlier. I can't wait to take that plate home to the woman who told me that I'm not in her wildest dreams. And I get excited about anything. I remember how pleased I was when for 3 years in a row I was named a semifinalist in the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. But all I've ever done really to receive that plate and your gratitude was buy a house next door to Millie West. So, as we close our program, I want to offer my personal congratulations to our newest Hall of Fame members. Our thanks to those who made our program possible and so enjoyable. And thanks to all of you for your presence this evening and for your support of women's collegiate tennis and the Hall of Fame. Thank you and good night.